Hello, this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, then you're very, very welcome. If you're one of my regular visitors, then thank you for coming and continuing to watch me. Today, this is our project. Isn't it lovely? Love this project. It is very, very clean and simple. Very muted palette of colours. But for the video, I decided, so the colours that I use are Soft Sea Foam, Daffodil Delight and obviously Whisper White. But for the video, I decided I'm going to shake it up a bit and do a brighter one. Mainly because this third one is going to be for my daughter, whose birthday is on the 3rd of July. So these ones are heading to my sister, whose birthday is the 24th of June, a friend whose birthday is the 28th of June. So many birthdays in June. I have about 12 birthdays to make cards and buy presents for in June. It's a very expensive time of year. But I wanted to show you my youngest daughter, who hasn't been with us all of lockdown. She's been in Nottingham. These are her gifts, all wrapped up and ready to go. And I've used some pretty tissue paper and then some lovely Coastal Cabana ribbon. So I wanted to coordinate the card. So I wanted a Coastal Cabana card. So what I have done, so this will be posted off later today to her in Nottingham. So I'm going to make the same card as we've made here, but with a Coastal Cabana mat. And see how that goes. Nice bright. And I've punched out already, I've die cut already the leaves because I couldn't decide what colour the leaves needed to be in. So I'm going to make it up and then put the leaves on last and see which we think would be the best colour to go with it. Well, I say we, it'll be me, I'm afraid, judging it. But I couldn't decide before I put it all together. So what do we need to do? So first of all, I've got a normal card blank. This card blank measures 21 centimetres by 15 or 8 1/4 by 6, I think. I haven't got a ruler here. I can never remember. I don't work in inches very often, so I can never remember. Is it 5 3/4? 5 3/4, yes, that's right. And then I scored at 10 1/2 or at 4 1/8. So that's this is our thick Whisper White cardstock because it needs to be quite sturdy because this is the basis of our card. Then I've got a panel of Coastal Cabana, and can you see that beautiful texture? I don't know how well you can see it on the camera. It is absolutely beautiful. I put it through the die cutter with this embossing folder, and I have momentarily forgotten what that's called. Should have been prepared for this. Let me find my catalogue and tell you what it's called. It is called Tasteful Textures, and it is a lovely, it's going to be another one. It's going to be supersede my usual favourite is the Subtles, but I love this one. So that panel is going to mount on my white card blank like this, but it needs to be cut down. You can see it's slightly too big, so I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And my card measures 15 that way, so I'm going to cut it down to 14 1/2. Actually, just slightly less. Hang on, where are we? 15. Just less than 14 1/2. Slightly less. I want a slightly bigger border. Let's see if that works for the border. Yep, quite happy with that. And then the other way, it needs to be 10 or just slightly less than 10 because the card is 10 1/2. And I just want a slightly bigger border than 1/2 centimetre. There we go. So as long as your borders all the way round are the same, it should look fine. It doesn't matter, you could have a smaller border, you could have a bigger border, but that's going to look great. So I'm going to take my Tombow and I am going to glue this into place. There's not really very much difference on the front and the back. Oh, I don't know actually, it's slightly subtler one way. I might use the more textured side. I think it is slightly more textured on one side, so you can choose which side you like. Oh, my Tombow's decided to block. Excellent. Just what I need in the middle of a video. So as usual, I'm just going to smooth that out a little bit, make sure it comes right to the edges so that it's not going to smudge out. I might need to use the other end of my Tombow then if that one's not going to work. Bit of unclogging to do when I am go back. Let's make sure it's still not working. No, it's not going to come out. Don't know what's happened with that. Let's use the other end and see if that will work. There we go. And you can actually spread it out with the spreader here, so you don't need the cocktail stick because you've actually got a spreader on the end of the Tombow. I use a cocktail stick a lot when I'm making quilled cards. A lot of you know that I sell my quilled cards on Etsy, and I use a cocktail stick a lot, so that's why I just stick with to go in there. There we go. That's why I use a cocktail stick a lot when I'm filming. Right, let's put that on there. So it's been quite a busy June for me. It's been the new catalogue, loads of lovely orders from my lovely customers rocking in. So that's been fantastic. Makes my job all the more sweet when I get some orders coming in. That's not quite central, so I'm going to take that off and start again. Too far down the bottom. That's the joy of Tombow. It will give you some wiggle room to move it around if you don't get it right the first time. There we go. Is that better? Too far near the top now. I will get this right. Only ever happens on film. Normally I do this and it's perfect the first time. Filming, not so much. There we go, that will do. There we go. Lovely. So that's a really nice panel of Coastal Cabana. Right, now we need to do the sentiments. So I've got a piece of white card here. Got my stamp. Now the stamp is from this new set, which is called Happiest of Birthdays, and it's this stamp here, which obviously this is Happy Little Bit Late Birthday, which I thought would be really useful for belated birthday cards. I don't have many of them in my stock, and I could do with a few, so that will be really useful. But I just wanted to use the Happy Birthday this time, so I have butchered my stamp. You can see I have cut it apart. You could just mask this out when you stamp it, but then they would be quite a long way away apart from each other. So I have got the bit that I cut out here, so I will easily be able to add that back in if I ever want it. But meanwhile I've got a happy birthday greeting, which is going to be so useful. So I know a lot of you will have taken a sharp intake of breath when you see what I did with my stamps, but to me they're for me to use, so I can do what I like with them. So if you're very precious about your stamps, then obviously don't cut them, but for me I want them to be ultra useful. So I'm just going to stamp. I'm stamping that Happy Birthday in Coastal Cabana. Oh, beautiful. I love this colour. It's one of my favourite colours, Coastal Cabana. Right, now that's too big. That's not bigger than I wanted it on there, so I'm going to trim that down a bit. I've got a piece of yellow already cut, and I've got to remember the dimensions here. Right, this is 5 by 9, so it's 8.5 by 4. I need to cut this down to 8.5 by 4.5, I should say. So I'm just gonna start by cutting a little bit off. I want it equidistant, so I'm just gonna. So what you could do is you could measure your 4.5. So about there, maybe. Something like that. So you could do that. I do both. Sometimes I measure, sometimes I just do it by eye. Let's measure, let's cut that off. And it doesn't really matter. It doesn't need to be a precise measurement anyway, so if you get it bigger or smaller, just cut your mat bigger or smaller. I just happened to already cut my mat today, so I really wanted to use it. Not sure that's very straight actually. Okay, let's try and straighten that up a little bit. Okay. There we go. So just trying to straighten this up a little bit because I don't think the Happy Birthday looked straight. There we go. That straightened it up a bit. That's better. Happy with that. And then this side needed to be 8.5, we said, didn't we? So 7.5. Oh, that's about. So we need about 1 centimetre each side of the message, which will be fine. There we go. And then I'm hoping that will fit quite nicely onto my panel. Oh yay, there we go. That worked. Doesn't always, but there we go. That's nice. So let's take my Tombow and squeeze some glue on there. Not sure you can see that on the white. It is coming out though. There we go. Yeah, that'll do. Put that on there. Got a little pencil mark where I obviously measured the yellow that I'm just going to rub out in the corner there, so I don't want that. That's the beauty of these pencils, that they always have a rubber to hand. I love them. They're just cheap, big mechanical pencils. They're all loving this. It's very summery looking, isn't it? Very summery looking. Loving it. There we go. And there. Ooh, beautiful. I'm just doing this by eye. It wants to be fairly central, so if you're not confident with doing it by eye, then again measure and put a little mark where it needs to go. There we go. Just a little bit down maybe. Loving the Tombow, giving me the chance to move it around if I need to. There we go. Right, I've then punched out with the small blooms punch 3 white daisies, and I've got a embossing tool with quite a big ball on it, but you can use any. A small ball will work. You just have to do a bit more work. This one works for me. And so on. There we go. And then these are going to go 2 at that corner, overlapping, and then just 1 down there. Always work in 3s. It's a design concept that 3s work better than odd numbers work better than even numbers when you're doing anything in design. There we go. And that one goes there. Now we just need to add the centres, and because we no longer have a 1/4 inch hole punch, which is a real shame because I really miss it, I'm using my hole puncher to just punch out the centre. So I'm just lining that up with the hole and punching. Oh, keeps getting stuck. There we go. If I do it upside down, it falls out and doesn't go back in. I might just do another one because I think I wrecked that other one. There we go. So that is a solution. If you've got a hole punch, you can use your hole punch to punch the centres of the daisies out. And then we just need a very, very small blob of glue, which is going to be tricky to do with this end of my Tombow, but we will try. Actually, what I'm going to do is take a cocktail stick and just take the glue off there. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with much too much on here. I only need a tiny, tiny bit. There we go. And then just place your centre of your daisies. Actually, it looks quite nice without the leaves. What do you reckon? Think we can get away without the leaves on this one? Oh, beautiful. I love it. Really liking this colour scheme. So the choices we have for the leaves are, let's see what we think now that it's made. I did put them together. I can get them apart. So we have Granny Apple Green. Actually, I don't mind that one now. I didn't like it at first, but I don't mind that now. I think it sort of echoes the colours. I also did Pool Party. Oh, I don't know. And Soft Sea Foam. Definitely not Soft Sea Foam. I think I'm relegating that one. I'm kind of thinking I might go with my first thought and my Granny Apple Green. What do we think? I do this an awful lot when I'm card making. I don't deliberate about colours till I get it quite right. What do we reckon? Oh, I'm going to go with Pool Party, I think. I think it coordinates better. I think it just holds... do I? Oh, I don't know. No, I'm going to go with Granny Apple Green. No, decision has been made. No more swapping. I think it worried me that Pill Party's not really a green, and I did want my leaves to be green, my foliage to be green. Right, okay, so I'm going to get my snips out. I can find them. Oh, there they are. And I'm going to trim this down because I don't need all of this. So I'm going to trim this down quite drastically. And then I'm going to trim some off the sides. And then see how this will poke behind there, which it won't very much. That's obviously well stuck down. I'm going to cut a little bit more off there. Just needs to poke down behind a little bit. That's fine. That's great. There we go. Right, what I'm going to do is take a little lid, put a little bit of Tombow on it, so I can do this with a cocktail stick. So, and I'm going to get my tweezers out as well. Like so. So I hope you're all having a good day. Hope you're all enjoying the new catalogue. Isn't it fun? It was one of those catalogues for me was a bit of a slow burner. When I first looked at it, I thought, yeah, okay, quite a few bits in there I like. And now I'm seeing all the things that the people are making and thinking, oh gosh, I need that set and I need that set. I was really trying to be quite thrifty and not spend too much, but as usual, I'm being sucked in and will end up spending a fortune. My aim is, though, that I don't have sets that I don't use. There is no point in me buying sets that just sit on my shelf and don't get used. So I am trying to be quite realistic about how many sets I can actually use before another catalogue comes out. And believe it or not, although this catalogue hasn't even been out a month yet, as demonstrators, we get to see the Christmas catalogue this week. So that's just crazy. Actually, that looks really nice. I'm really pleased with this. I think my daughter's going to love it. I do love making a card when I can sort of see the face of the recipient opening it. I hope she's going to love it as much as I do. Very, very simple. Minimal amount of stamping. There we go. And on these videos, you do see me in proper grafting mode, so I don't pretty things up for the video. So you'll see my errors and my working things out as I go, how I do things. So I hope you appreciate that, so it doesn't make me look like an absolute expert, because believe me, I am not. I do make a lot of errors, but hopefully in my videos you can see how the design process works a little bit. There we go. I'm going to just cut this one off as well. Oh, I didn't say where I got these from, did I? These little fronds, these little leaves, are from the butterfly, what are they called? I'll have to look it up. These are the dies that go with Beauty Abounds. I'm trying to think what they're called. Butterfly Beauty, maybe? And it's this little frond, just this little frond. So there's only one little frondy leaf thing in here, well, another little swirly one. But it's very, very useful, I find, that little frond. And of course, you know, you can use it full length or you can cut it down. But it's quite a nice, delicate little thing to add a little bit of foliage with. Of course, there's lots and lots of other sets that have them. I just don't happen to have them. The new fern set, I think, has quite a nice few in. There we go. Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, really love it. Love it. Love that sentiment, that lovely big happy birthday. And I'm so pleased I cut it up so that I can use it for birthdays as well as belated birthdays. So there's that one. There's that one. And there's that one. It's making me now want to make some more bright ones though. So this one is for going to my sister. Like I said, this one's going to my youngest daughter. This one's going to a very good friend. So I hope you liked today's project. Don't forget, if you need a catalogue, you can just get in touch if you're in the UK especially. I can only send them within our markets, so, and I don't have any other languages, so I can send them to Germany and wherever. Germany, Austria, France and the Netherlands, but I don't actually have any in those languages. I've only got English catalogues. If you need a catalogue, if you need anything else, and don't forget, I've got my 2-for-1 sale going on my blog, so all my retired stuff is on there. Not all of my retired stuff, because I haven't got around to photographing it all yet, but a good deal of stuff is on there, and it's all buy one and you get one. You can choose anything else for free. The lower priced item is free, of course. So just go down below and look at the links below. And that's it from me today, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.